Hello and welcome to today's podcast episode for the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Ramonda and I am your host today with our special guest, Eloho Efemuai. Hello, Eloho. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you, Ray. And thank you for having me on your podcast.
Well, I'm excited because today we'll be talking about how to break through the stereotypes to become who you were destined to be through visibility, clarity, confidence, consistency in overcoming impostor syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little bit about Eloho. So Eloho is a brand visibility coach, singer, speaker, author, radio broadcaster who inspires creatives and women of faith to stop doubting their potentials, unleash their inner confidence by beating the stereotypes to create a 360-degree visible and impactful brand. So Eloho, welcome to today's show.
Thank you so much for having me. Such an honor, such a privilege, and I don't take it for granted at all.
So I'm excited to actually talk about visibility. I know a lot of people get held back by this imposter syndrome, so I know we'll be covering a lot in today's episode. But before we begin, I want you to share a little bit more about your story with our listeners.
Okay, thank you. So I used to think that my self-worth depended on what people said about me or how people treated me or how people responded to me, and that held me back from truly living, from truly fulfilling my potential. So I'm what you call a woman who wears so many hats. Yeah. So I'm a radio broadcaster. I started an online radio 5 years ago. And just recently, we did a research and we found out that 3% of the UK population have listened to our radio station in the past 3 months. So that's a big deal for me. But I wasn't at that place when I started the radio station where I was so confident in myself because I had suffered from abuse growing up as a child. I had suffered from rejection, a body where I considered like my home, I was serving there, I was rejected, I was kicked out, so all of that affected my self-worth, it affected my self-confidence. And I started to second guess myself. I started to doubt myself. I think this affects a lot of women who feel like they're not good enough for whatever they do, they're not good enough. So this was me, a woman of faith, a gospel singer who had released 2 studio albums, who had been organizing huge concerts, and funny enough, in Aberdeen, where I used to live, the attendants were more locals than Africans, yeah, because you think that, this is an African woman who's organizing concerts, so more Africans will come, but it was the other way around, So I was organizing all of those concerts. I had released my album, but yet deep down I was battling with so much, because of the things that had been said to me, the things that I had said, even the looks, people look at you in a certain way. I felt out of place as a woman of faith. I didn't quite fit into my I'll call it, the faith world, because they felt I was too extravagant, I was too loud. And yet, on the other side, and then they felt I was too worldly. And then on the other side, they were like, who's this person? So I just felt like a misfit. Yeah. And that really affected me. While deep down in my heart, all I wanted to do was just to inspire people to become a better version of themselves, because I believe that we have all been created with a purpose, for a purpose, And as soon as I started to walk in my purpose, I felt like I wanted to carry other women along with me. But here I was being stopped. Until I said, what, enough is enough. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Everybody doesn't have to like me. Everybody doesn't have to get me. But there are some people who, yes, they don't like tea, but they like coffee I could be their coffee, or they probably like a latte or something. And so at that point, I decided that enough was enough. I was going to share my story, because the things that held me back were really, really, the abuse I suffered, the lack of self-confidence, the imposter syndrome, feeling like not good enough. All of that held me back from fulfilling my potential, from building the brand that I now have. And I'm so thankful for the journey so far. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. Until date, I still face a lot of challenges. But you know what? I've determined in my mind that nothing is going to stop me, not even me. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to make mistakes along as I go, but I know that someone out there is getting inspired. And I tell you, Ray, I get so many messages from people that I don't even know to say how my showing up has inspired them, to take action. My showing up consistently has inspired them to start something, no matter how small. So that is what I believe, my journey, sharing my story, stepping out there, being visible, showing the impact has done for a lot of women that I encounter. So that's a bit of my story of my journey so far. Yeah.
I love that. And it's like, as you say, you're not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Remind ourselves that we are unique in our own right. We have something special and something to bring and contribute in this world. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you have found a way through of, being bullied, being almost, beaten down in some of the social environments and not feeling good enough about yourself too. Now, not only stepping into your power and your purpose, but now also helping other people to be visible. And I know you've written a book. So tell me a little bit more about the book you've written.
Okay, so I wrote a book in 2020 called You're Not Everybody's Cup of Tea. Stop doubting your potential and live a fulfilled life. Obviously, that book is my story and my journey and what helped me in the process. Some of the things that helped me was affirmations. I believe strongly in affirmations. Also going back to the book, the Bible, because I'm a woman of faith. And, reading through the scriptures to find out what God, who created me, has said about me and holding on to those words. Also, reading helped me a lot. I read books like As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. And that book was a big transformation for me, because where he talked about, he likened the mind to a garden. You have a garden, weeds are growing, but what do you do with your garden? You tend your garden, but our minds are like the garden. And then all of the negative thoughts, all of the imposter syndrome, all of the self-worth, what people have said about you, how people have treated you are like the weeds. And if you do not take care of your mind, what happens to your garden when you do. So that book really, really transformed my life. And I just decided, I need to start taking care of my mind better. So I love how you always say, step into your power, so that I can step into my power, step into my purpose, Something else that helped me was getting coaching, because before then I didn't believe in coaching. I just thought, as a woman of faith, I'm going to pray, everything is going to be all right, But I got a coach who helped me a lot. I mean, sometimes my coach look at me and I'm like, I can't believe you're the same woman who came to me years ago and you were always in tears. But something profound he told me was, you are an eagle, but you're trying to fly with chickens. Because I didn't know my worth. Yeah, I didn't know my worth. So I wrote that book, shared my experiences, shared how I went through all of the rejection, the abuse, how I suffered from a lack of confidence. And I'm very tall, Ray. You haven't seen me, but I'm about 6 foot tall. And that affected me growing up as well, because I was teased, I was bullied. So I used to slouch because I couldn't stand up straight. And being told is such a beautiful thing. So I shared all of that in my book and then shared what helped me to overcome all of this. Obviously, I will always say I'm still on a journey, but I've evolved over the years. I'm not where I used to be, but I'm here now, and I'm grateful for where I am now. So that's the book. And honestly, it's amazing when you either it's a business you start, or a podcast, a video, a YouTube, or you write a book. People resonate with your story. So the reviews I was getting, people were crying, sending me messages, how, they were even abused, but they couldn't share their story. Now this book has helped them, and all sorts. That book is just such a blessing. And I'll tell you what, a couple of days ago, I picked the book up because I was battling with some things in my mind. I picked my own book up. I read it from cover to cover. I finished it in like less than 2 hours, and I got so empowered just reading that book that, hey, Lord, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you hear, what you don't hear. It doesn't matter who celebrates you or who doesn't celebrate you. You are a woman on a mission, and you have so much value, so much worth in you. Recognize that worth, celebrate it, and go out there and shine. I was like, wow, okay. No wonder people were, raving about it. So it was released in 2020. It's out there on Amazon, to my website as well. So people can get it. Such a great tool, such a great, great, great tool. I'll say that myself. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And it's so inspiring to hear that, that you claimed back your power. You stepped into that power and you said, you know what? I am enough. And as we go through life, we all sometimes have those stumbles. Sometimes, something holds us back and we start to doubt ourselves. But you got to know when to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I just need a little pick me up. I just need to remind myself that I am a person on a mission. And I love that. I know you have a big mission. So now you help other people to be visible and just embrace their unique selves.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the work that you're doing right now.
Okay. So something I say to the people that I work with, it doesn't matter how great your book is. It doesn't matter how fantastic your coaching is. If nobody knows about you, it's all just wasted effort. So how do you then get your message across and tell the people who you have been sent to? Because we're not sent to everyone. You know that, Ray. We're not sent to everyone. So how do you then let them know that, hey, I've got this podcast that will be a blessing to you. I've got this business that will impact your life for good. Or I've just written the book. It's by showing up consistently, by being visible. And it's not about, because when I talk to them about visibility, they think, oh, I have to be there always. No, I tell them consistency, being visible. It's not that you show up and just show up. You know how some people just show up? Oh, Eloho says I should show up, so I'll just show up without, depth, without clarity. No, you've got to be clear and say, okay, this is my purpose. This is who I serve. And this is how I can help them. And then you show up that way. If you're going to show up 3 times a week, let people know that 3 times a week, Eloho is either on her podcast, on her radio station, she's on social media, sharing her brilliance, sharing how she can help other people, the tools that have helped her. So that's how I help, women of faith, creative women of faith, especially women who are authors, who are singers, who are writers, who are podcasters. And it's just been such a blessing being able to share my journey, my experiences with them and say, okay, this is where I was, but this is where I am now. And you also can be here if you get clear about your purpose, who you serve, and show up consistently with confidence. One of the things I learned is that whatever energy you give off, that's what your audience is going to catch. So if you show up as weak, if you show up like you're not good enough, they're going to see that. And they're not able to, to come to you to help them, because it's just like you're in a pit. You're looking for someone to bring you out of the pit. If you're in that pit and then this person is also trying to come back in the pit with you, you're like, you can't help me. Yeah. So whatever energy you give off, that's the energy that the audience, the people you're trying to attract or help, that's the same energy they'll get. So you've got to show up with confidence at all times. Smile. Like you, Ray, you're always smiling. And oh my goodness, I'm like, she's so gorgeous. People want to see that. I'm not saying that you should just always show up as being perfect and all of that. No, share your challenges, share your story. This is what happened, or this is where I was, but doing so brought me out of it. I'm on a journey. I've been where you are, and I can help you. So share your stories that they can relate to, but be confident in even sharing those stories. So that's the work that I do. And it's just amazing. Yeah.
I love it. And, it's really inspiring to what you have been able to achieve. And of course, you didn't just go out there and became visible overnight. It was a journey.
No. It's been a journey. It's been a journey.
And that's what I love. Your story is so impactful and important. And I love that you've written a book and you actually went back to study marketing to...
Yeah, I had to. And I'll tell you why, Ray. As a singer, all what we're doing was, I went here to sing today, or I did this today, I did that today. Fantastic. All of that is brilliant. But at the end of the day, what do you want people to do? And so I thought that I needed a more strategic approach with my music at that time, And after my kids went to primary school, I was like, yay, I've got some time on my hands now. I want to go back to school. I want to go study because I love social media. I honestly love social media. It's giving me so much opportunities to connect with people on a deeper level. Some of my very close friends were all from social media. So I love it. I love that I could connect with anybody in anywhere in the world. But I realized that people were doing business and making money on social media. So how can I do that with my music and all I do? So I thought I was going to go back. So I went into the Robert Gordon University to study a master's in digital marketing. But I wanted to specialize in social media. So I did a diploma with DMI in Ireland. I did social media marketing because I wanted to not just help myself, but I wanted to help other creatives, who were struggling with their online PR, who were struggling to get people to know who they were, what they were doing, and how they could impact them or inspire them. So I went in and I studied it. And as soon as I came out, I knew that this was going to change my whole life. And it has actually, because one of the very first clients I worked with is an A-list gospel artist. I was like, okay, hey, you've started this course. And that was the first time I was getting paid for it. You've started this course. Here's my socials. Do your magic. And everything I had learned, everything that I used for myself, I did for him. And boom, his account exploded. And he was just raving. And that's how he started to refer me to other people. So yeah, I had to go study it.
Such an amazing story, just after having your babies and you say, hey, I'm going back to school and I need this. And then you've done it for yourself. Now you're able to do the same thing for others, which is very, very refreshing and exciting, because we always have to get those results for ourselves first, that we're able to serve ourselves before we're able to serve others with our skills. So we've got a few more minutes. And if you're enjoying this podcast, I want you to make sure that you do subscribe and share this episode with somebody else or leave a review. Really, really appreciate that. So Eloho, you are one of our speakers for the Women Thrive Summit.
I'm so excited and looking forward to it.
Oh, thank you. What are you looking to share? What are you going to be sharing at the Women Thrive Summit?
I'm going to share a bit about my journey and how I was able to build a visible and impactful brand. In fact, the word that has been coming to my mind, while thinking about the summit is purposeful brand. So it's not just building a brand, it's not just being visible, but being purposeful and impacting your world. And I'm going to share the things that helped me build that brand. I'm also going to share how I was able to beat the stereotypes. I know beating the stereotypes is a lot of work. We're still on that journey because I still get that every day. But just going to share, how I evolved through the process and how I am helping and supporting women like me to go out there, be their brilliant self, be visible, be confident, and impact their world. So we're talking 360-degree brand. And you may be wondering, what's 360-degree? Well, if you want to find out more, make sure you register for the summit, because I'm going to be talking how I was able to build a 360-degree brand that is visible and impactful, and how you can do the same no matter where you are.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. So go ahead over to womenthrivesummit.com, reserve your spot, and come and hear Eloho share her story and help you build that visibility and your brand that really stands out and is unique. And that's what I love, because now, having been through the bullying and not feeling good enough and different life experiences where you question your own self-worth, now you're on the other side of that journey, and what you have managed to build with your personal brand is something, to me, when I see your posts now, they stand out. They stand out with this energy, with conviction. And we connected a few years back. Quite a while I didn't know who Eloho was. I knew you, but I didn't know who you were. And over those years, your presence online has grown, and I see how powerful it is when you start to really pay attention to what your brand stands for and embrace your unique self. As you say, you're not everyone's cup of tea.
No, you're not.
I'll say you are. You really shine bright. And I'm so, so proud for your journey, where you are now, and for so many lives that you're going to go and impact still.
Thank you so much. And thank you for believing in me. And thank you for quietly just pushing me, with everything that you do. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. So how can our audience follow you on and maybe find you across different platforms?
All right. So my username accounts across every platform: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, is one word: Eloho Efemuai. So that's ELOHO EFEMUAI. So Eloho Efemuai, one word. And you find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm still getting into the others.
You don't have to be everywhere to make
Exactly. That's why I don't have to be anywhere. And the truth is that when you're everywhere, your efforts are scattered all over the place.
Right.
So just have one major place where people find you, and then have a presence on the others.
Exactly.
And also on my website, elohofemuai.co.uk. When you get there, there's a link to join my radio show every Monday to Thursday morning.
Yes. What's the name of your radio show?
It's called Arise with Eloho. Because I struggled with my mornings, but I took charge of my mornings, and it's been amazing since then. So I want to inspire other people. Hey, you too can have a great start to your day. So I play music, I tell jokes, I tell stories, I giggle a lot on my show.
That's how you want to start your morning, with some positivity,
yeah,
energy. That's, to me, this is what you bring, just that happiness, that good positive vibes. And I'm so excited to have you part of this year's summit, and just to have your story to inspire other people, because I truly, when we first spoke, I thought, wow, what a woman, how you went through so much and where you are now. And it just shows that you have taken charge of your life. You've taken all those steps to be whoever you had in your vision for you to become. And that, everything you have built is a testament to that commitment to yourself, and now commitment to show up for other people, which you do every single day.
Yep.
Thank you all so much. I look forward to seeing you, Eloho, on our summit. And for those of you who are listening to this or watching this, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the Women Thrive platform. The Women Thrive Summit is our annual event that happens every March, this year featuring more than 30 amazing speakers to empower and support you in business. Anything from, having some amazing stories on helping you transform your mindset, your finances, your strategy, and really helping you step up and be the confident person that you want to be. I look forward to seeing you all there. And for now, thank you so much. We'll see you again soon.